Okay, so what I'm going to show you right now is how to solve equations using the distributive property. The distributive property it gives us a way of multiplying when you have numbers on the inside of parentheses without combining those numbers first. So normally, for instance, if we use the order of operations, we might have something like this. And what the order of operations tells us is that we want to work from inside out. So inside the parentheses comes first. And then after that, you do exponents. If there are exponents, you use the exponents, and then multiply or divide. So in this case, we would add these two on the inside, and then multiply by 5, which is the number on the outside, and that gives us 50. So that's the normal way of doing it. However, there is another way of doing it, and sometimes it gives you an advantage. It makes it easier sometimes. Now, that other way of doing it is by using the distributive property. Now, this is not necessarily, I'll use the same numbers, so it comes out the same. So in this case, the distributive property would probably not be the easiest way of doing it. This is better here. But the way you do it is you take the number on the outside and you multiply it by both of the numbers on the inside, paying attention to the signs. So 5 times 3, 15. 5 times 7 is positive, so 5 times 7 is positive 35. Now you combine these two, and 15 plus 35 is 50. And you notice it comes out the same either way. Like I said, most of the time when you're working with real numbers like this, it's probably easier to combine them on the inside of the parentheses before you multiply or divide whatever comes after. But when you have variables, we have a problem here. So let's say we have x minus 3 on the inside. These are not like terms, so we can't put these together. Before we can multiply this, it's the order of operations says we have to combine these. Well, the distributive property says we don't have to do that. We can just take this number, and as long as we multiply it by both of them, so we multiply by the 5 times the x, and you multiply by the negative 3, then we can do that first. So the distributive property would be 5 times x, which is 5x, and 5 times negative 3, make sure you don't forget the negative, and that would be 15. That may not seem like it helps us too much, but we've gotten rid of the parentheses, and that's an important step. So what we're going to do is we're going to use that to solve problems that look something like this. So this would be a basic equation with the distributive property, okay, with parentheses here, right? And we can't just go ahead and add 3 to both sides. We need to make sure we get rid of those parentheses first. So the way we do it is by multiplying and using the distributive property. 6 times x, 6x. Then we multiply here, negative 3. If this was a positive 3, it would bring the positive down. But we're going to multiply positive 6 times negative 3, gives us negative 18, and that gives us 60. Just bring this down. Now notice, I'm not doing anything new to this side of the equation. That's why I don't do anything to this side. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to try to isolate that x, get x all by itself. To do that, I need to get rid of that negative 18. So I'm going to put a negative 18 here, a positive 18, that wasn't there before. Because it wasn't there before, I need to put something here also that's exactly the same as this. I have to put the same thing. That keeps it balanced. So 6x. Now you combine these. 0 plus 8, 8. 6 plus 1, 7. 6x equals 78. Now we're going to do something that isn't already here. So this is multiplication, right? If we just had to multiply, it already tells us to multiply. But we're going to divide. That's something new we're putting in, so we have to do that new thing to the other side as well. So we have 6 divided by 6 is 1, so 1x, and then 78 divided by 6 gives you 13. So 1x, which is the same as x, is 13. I hope that helps you with the distributive property.